Have you ever wondered how your daily routine can help you speak English fluently well? I'm here to tell you that it's easier than you think. Whether you're just starting your English learning journey or you're already on your way, one thing is certain: talking about your day is one of the most effective and enjoyable ways to improve your English skills. If you've been looking for ways to practice English without memorizing endless lists of vocabulary or trying to study complex grammar rules, then you're in the right place. Learning doesn't have to be stressful or boring. Today, we're going to break down a simple but powerful technique that makes learning English both practical and fun, and the best part: it involves something you already do every single day. Let's dive in and see how your everyday life can become your best tool for learning English. Now, let's talk about why describing your day in English is so important. The key word here is real. You don't need to memorize abstract topics like science, history, or politics that may seem far removed from your life. Instead, you get to use English that's connected to what you do every day. It's real, it's yours, and it's directly relevant to your life. Think about it. Every day, you wake up, eat breakfast, go to work or school, have a break, relax in the evening, and go to bed. You already know what these moments look like and feel like. Why not turn these moments into opportunities to practice English by using your daily routine? You're talking about something you already understand and can describe easily. When you're learning a new language, the biggest challenge is often finding ways to make the language feel relevant to your life. You might ask yourself, how can I use English to talk about things that matter to me? The answer is simple. Talk about your day. It's personal, and you already know it, inside and out. Now, why does this method work so well? Well, language is much easier to learn when it's connected to real-life experiences. Think about it when you describe your day in English. You don't need to search for words or ideas. They're already in your mind. If someone asks, "What did you do today?" you know exactly what to say. I woke up at 7 a.m., had a cup of coffee, went to work, and came back home in the evening. These are everyday actions that you can easily describe, and by practicing them in English, you start to think in English more naturally. Let's break it down further. You don't need to memorize an entire conversation or worry about speaking perfectly. You just need to speak about your own life. For example, what time did you wake up today? What did you have for breakfast? How did you spend your afternoon? These are simple questions that you already have the answers to, and practicing them in English will help you build fluency and confidence. Here's the best part. When you describe your daily routine, you're not just practicing random phrases, you're learning to communicate in a way that's useful and real. Every time you talk about your life in English, you're using vocabulary and structures that matter to you. This method makes learning more meaningful and less stressful, and it's something that will stick with you in the long run. By talking about your day, you'll begin to think in English without overthinking, and your confidence in using the language will grow. Here's something very important to keep in mind. You don't have to be perfect. Perfection is overrated when it comes to language learning. In fact, it's more important to just start speaking. The first step in improving your English is to stop worrying about mistakes and embrace the idea that mistakes are part of the process. When you're talking about your day, You don't need to use fancy vocabulary or complex grammar. Start small, one sentence at a time. Even if it's as simple as saying, I woke up at 7 a.m., that's already a huge step forward. You don't need to say, I woke up at 7 a.m., brushed my teeth, ate breakfast, and then went to work. If that feels too complicated, keep it simple. I woke up at 7 a.m. is a great start. Then, as you become more comfortable, you can add more details. This process is all about building confidence. The goal isn't to be perfect from the beginning, it's about becoming fluent. And fluency comes with practice. When you first start speaking, it might feel awkward or challenging, but the more you practice, the easier it will become to speak in complete sentences without needing to translate from your native language. Think about it this way. Language is like any other skill, it gets better with time. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. When you first learned to ride a bike, did you master it in one go? Of course not. You started with the basics, balance, pedaling, steering. Slowly but surely, you got better. Speaking English works the same way. You start small and build up over time. Over time. This becomes second nature. You won't have to think so much about how to form a sentence or choose the right word. You'll just speak naturally. Because you've already practiced with the simple but real sentences that describe your day-to-day life. And remember, the key to this is repetition. By starting small and building up, you make the learning process manageable. You won't feel overwhelmed because you're learning English at a pace that works for you. Every day, you can add one more sentence or make a sentence a little more detailed. Before you know it, you'll be able to have entire conversations in English without even thinking twice about it. So, here's the secret: start small. Don't worry about mistakes, and focus on building confidence. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Just like learning any new skill, speaking English gets easier and more natural with time. So, whether you're just starting out or looking to take your skills to the next level, talking about your day in English is a great place to begin. You've already got everything you need: your life and your voice. It's time to use them both to speak English fluently. By breaking down the process of learning English into simple, achievable steps, and by focusing on real, everyday topics, you can start making progress in a way that feels natural and rewarding. Let's continue to build this skill together. One sentence at a time. Building confidence in speaking English often requires you to step outside your comfort zone. But here's the thing. You don't need to start with complicated topics or elaborate discussions. In fact, one of the best ways to boost your confidence is by talking about something simple and familiar: your daily routine. The beauty of this approach is that it's already part of your life, and you're already an expert at it. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're meeting someone new, and they ask, "What did you do today?" If you've practiced talking about your day in English, you won't have to buzz or struggle for words. You'll be ready to answer without hesitation. You could say, "I woke up at 7, had some coffee, and went to work." And just like that, you've had a real conversation in English. Doesn't that feel good? It's not just about the words. It's about the feeling of confidently answering a question in a language that isn't your own. And the best part, you didn't have to use complicated phrases, technical jargon, or memorize long vocabulary lists. You just described your day, something you do every day. That's the beauty of using your daily routine to practice English. It's real, it's personal, and it's the easiest way to start speaking the language. The more you practice this, the more confident you'll feel. You'll start thinking in English, and when you speak, you'll find that you don't need to search for the right word or worry about perfect grammar. The language will flow more naturally, and you'll be able to describe any part of your life, no matter the situation or the person you're talking to. Exploring the different parts of your day. Let's dive deeper into how we can practice English by talking about different parts of the day: the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. Each part of the day offers unique opportunities to practice English, and as you go through your daily routine, you can make these moments work for you by practicing your speaking skills. The morning routine. Setting the tone for the day. The morning is one of the most important parts of the day. Why? Because it sets the tone for everything that follows. How you start your day has a significant impact on your mood, your energy levels, and your productivity. So, when it comes to practicing English, your morning routine is the perfect opportunity to describe simple actions that are personal to you, things you do every day without even thinking about them. Think about how you start your morning. Do you wake up early or sleep in a little longer? Do you have a set routine when you get up, or do you enjoy a more laid-back morning? These are questions we can easily answer in English, and by doing so, we not only practice our speaking skills, but also start to create a routine that includes English in a natural, everyday way. For example, you might say, I wake up at 6:30, have coffee, and then start my day. You could also share more details like, I like to take a few minutes to stretch and enjoy the quiet of the morning before I get started. See how easy it is? You're simply talking about your routine, but you're doing it in English. What makes describing your morning so valuable is that it's personal to you, and therefore, it's something you know well. You don't need to memorize anything new or learn new vocabulary. These are all things you already know. And by describing them in English, you're reinforcing your language skills in a way that's relevant to your own life. Creating a routine with English. As we move through the day, we can focus on different moments and create opportunities to practice English. Having a routine that naturally includes speaking English makes the process easier and more sustainable in the long run. The more you talk about your day in English, the more it becomes second nature to speak about any part of your life, whether it's a regular morning, a busy afternoon, or a quiet evening. Let's take a closer look at some simple examples of how you can describe your morning. After waking up, do you immediately jump out of bed, or do you take your time? You might say, I usually wake up around 7 a.m. and lie in bed for a few minutes to wake up slowly. It's a small moment in your day, but it's a great way to practice describing an everyday habit. Or perhaps you have a specific ritual in the morning. Maybe you like to drink coffee to start your day. You can describe that too. I drink a cup of coffee every morning as I check my emails. These sentences may seem simple, but they're the foundation for building fluency. You could also mention the activities you do after getting out of bed. For example, after I wake up, I wash my face with cold water to feel more awake. This helps you build a full routine of actions, each of which you can describe in English. And the beauty of these activities is that they're completely natural and relatable. Morning routines. The power of simplicity. When you describe your morning routine, remember that simplicity is key. You don't need to have complex sentence structures or use high-level vocabulary. In fact, the simpler, the better. Using the language you already know is a great way to ease into fluency, and it takes the pressure off trying to be perfect. You might say, I get out of bed and brush my teeth, and that's enough. It's clear, concise, and easy to understand. Once you feel comfortable with basic sentences, you can add more details. I brush my teeth for 2 minutes while I think about my day ahead. One of the best parts about describing your morning routine is that you're talking about something that's personal to you. Your morning might look different from someone else's, and that's okay. The point is that it's your routine, and it's a perfect opportunity to practice English. You might even find that as you get more comfortable describing your mornings, you start thinking about English as part of your routine, not as a separate task, but something that you do naturally, just like brushing your teeth or having breakfast, using your morning routine to create consistency in learning. The more you incorporate English into your daily routine, the more consistent your learning will be. Your morning routine is just one example of how you can practice English every day without feeling overwhelmed. The goal is to make English a part of your life, something you do regularly without having to set aside special time for it. If you take just a few minutes each morning to describe what you do, that's already progress. The more you practice these simple sentences, the more confident you'll feel. And remember, as you progress, you can challenge yourself to describe your routine in greater detail. For example, you might add, after my coffee, I read a book for 20 minutes to help me relax before I start working. Your morning routine is more than just a series of actions. It's an opportunity to practice English in a way that fits seamlessly into your life. And as you continue, you'll find that speaking English becomes more natural. You'll start thinking in English, and you'll feel more confident in conversations. Whether it's describing your day, talking to new people, or even reflecting on your experiences. At the end of the day, the most important thing is consistency. By talking about your daily routine in English, you're giving yourself the chance to practice and build fluency. Your routine is something you already know well, so there's no need to stress about memorizing new words or complicated grammar rules. You're simply describing the world around you, the same world you interact with every day. So, start with the basics. Describe your morning, your afternoon, and your evening in simple phrases, clear sentence. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And before you know it, you'll be speaking English as naturally as you go through your daily routine. By the time the afternoon rolls around, you might already be deep into your tasks, whether you're working, studying, or taking care of family responsibilities. The truth is, the afternoon can often be a busy and productive time, and this is where you can really take advantage of the momentum you've built throughout the day. While you're already mentally active and engaged in what you're doing, why not practice your English too? Think about it. In the afternoon, your mind is already in gear. You're likely working through emails, making phone calls, or preparing for meetings. This is the perfect time to start adding English into your routine without feeling overwhelmed. Rather than setting aside extra time just for English practice, you can combine it with the activities you're already doing. It's a simple, efficient way to keep practicing without overloading your schedule. You can sneak in short English sessions while checking your messages or taking a break. For example, let's say you're working. You might say, after lunch, I usually go back to work and check my emails. That's a simple sentence that describes something you do regularly, but it's also a great way to practice your English. Notice how easy it is. All you need to do is talk about what you're already doing, but in English. And if you're in the middle of the afternoon and feel like taking a short break to refresh, You can practice even then. A simple sentence like, I like to take a short break at 3 p.m. and drink some water, works perfectly. You're already taking a break, why not make it a chance to practice English? The beauty of this is that it doesn't take extra time or effort. You're not interrupting your workflow. Instead, you're simply adding English into what you're already doing. This approach can be applied to any task in the afternoon. Whether you're sitting at your desk, preparing reports, or brainstorming ideas, you can narrate what you're doing in English. For example, you might say, I'm working on a project, or I'm sending emails to my colleagues. These are everyday sentences, and the more you say them out loud, the easier it becomes to remember the language and use it confidently. As the day comes to a close, it's time to unwind and relax. The evening is a great opportunity to reflect on everything you've done during the day. And it's also a perfect time to practice English after a busy day of work, study, or other tasks. It's natural to want to relax and wind down, whether you like to spend your evenings alone or with family. This time can be used to reinforce everything you've practiced throughout the day. Think about what you typically do in the evening. You might have dinner, relax with a good book, watch a show, or simply enjoy some quiet time. All of these activities provide great opportunities to practice your English by describing your actions. And since it's a part of your daily routine, it will feel natural and effortless to talk about. For instance, if you like spending time with your family after dinner, you could say, after dinner, I like to sit with my family and talk about our day. This sentence describes something simple, but it helps reinforce the habit of speaking in English. You're not just describing a past event, but you're practicing a real-life routine that you follow every day. By describing these simple moments, you get better at speaking English in a natural, conversational way. Alternatively, if you enjoy winding down with some personal time, you could say, I take a shower and relax with some music before bed. This not only helps you practice your English, but it also creates a sense of routine. As you repeat these sentences, you'll build confidence in describing your evening activities. Over time, it will feel natural to talk about your day before going to sleep, which leads to a great final practice session for the day. Reflecting on your day in English before bed helps reinforce everything you've learned. It's a great way to keep the language fresh in your mind as you wind down. And when you speak about your day in English, you're also reinforcing vocabulary and sentence structures that you've been practicing all day. One of the most important aspects of improving your English is repetition. The more you repeat sentences and ideas, the more natural they will feel. Consistency is key. Repetition helps ingrain English into your daily habits, making it feel less like a task and more like a normal part of your routine. So, here's a challenge for you. Keep a small journal where you write down what you did every day in English. You don't need to write long paragraphs, just simple sentences describing your routine will do. For example, you might write, I woke up at 6 a.m., or after work, I went for a walk. These short, simple entries will help reinforce your speaking and writing skills. And over time, you'll see progress in your fluency. Even if it's just a few sentences, it's still progress. You don't have to pressure yourself to write a whole page every day. Just commit to writing 1 or 2 sentences. The goal is to make it a habit. As you get more comfortable, you can start expanding your sentences, adding more details, or even writing full paragraphs. Don't forget to review your journal regularly. This will help you remember the vocabulary and phrases you've learned. You might even want to reread the entries out loud to practice speaking. Over time, you'll notice that the sentences start coming to you more naturally. You won't need to think as hard about the words, and you'll be able to express yourself with more confidence. Congratulations on taking the time to practice your English today. You've learned a powerful method to improve your speaking skills by incorporating English into your daily routine. Remember, consistency is key. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Now, I want to hear from you. Share in the comments below what your typical day looks like in English. What part of your daily routine do you find most interesting or easiest to describe? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps me continue creating content to help you on your language learning journey. Keep practicing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay motivated. And remember, your daily routine is one of the best tools you have for improving your English skills. Keep building confidence and keep making progress, one sentence at a time.